Welcome to the Ad Nauseam podcast, where classical gourmands everywhere can finally get their fill. Join us for a delectable discussion of Greco-Roman civilization stretching from the Minoans and Mycenaeans through the Renaissance and right down to the present. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are your hosts, Dr. David Noe and Dr. Jeff Winkle.
Welcome, listeners, to episode 80 of the Ad Nauseam podcast. 80, again, did you think we'd make it this far?
No, I had to interrupt you. 80? This is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, right?
The octagesimal episode.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Is that the word? Nice.
I'm going to run out eventually.
We got a fun one today.
Oh, it's going to be great.
A nice, kind of light, I think, humorous one for the 80th episode.
And the audience may even enjoy it.
They might, right? Again, we can't guarantee anything. This is What's a UdoU 2.
You're going to give the title before we even give all of the gist?
The gist? I just dropped the title. We can gist later.
What's a UdoU 2?
Right.
Where are those cardboard dividers we used to have between us?
Those are long gone.
We could probably dig them out.
Yeah, exactly. You getting tired of just
looking at you?
Look at me full on. That's right. Yes.
So you're going to introduce yourself and meself?
Oh, that's right, man. It's been a while. I feel since we've been in the vomitorium.
Right.
But I am, as always, Dr. Jeff Winkle, and I'm here with my good, if irascible, friend, Dr. David Noe.
There you go.
Yeah.
I am irascible. I don't mind being called pedantic.
Pedantic
Or pedestrian.
Right. So I'm
but irascible?
Maybe that was a little much. You and I, before the mics went on, we had a kind of heavy conversation.
A throwdown, didn't we?
We did.
Cultural stuff and this and that, and
so maybe not the best way to kind of gear up for a fun episode.
A light one. We're going to throw fairy dust all over the whole thing,
right? So
I don't think so. Not in this spirit.
No. I think that's where irascible came from, and I take it back.
Jeff's especially irritable, but I'm especially irritable.
That's right. So we're talking about mottos today.
We are.
Yep.
So it wasn't too long ago. I don't remember the number of the episode, but we looked at the mottos of different states.
Yeah, I think it was back in the fall.
Yes, and we had one of your best lines ever, which was "Cave virum Floridianum."
Yes, beware of Florida man.
Beware of Florida man. I even got a request for a T-shirt. Somebody said, make a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And I'll buy it.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe we need to do that. I mean, there's a revenue stream waiting to happen.
And thanks to the magic of Wikipedia, we're now able to offer the audience an episode, or maybe even two, because we didn't cover a lot of material here, on the mottos of colleges and universities, the Latin mottos.
Right. So just like the States, colleges like to have these Latin mottos because it has kind of a natural kind of elevation to it.
It brings some dignity. And Latin is very lapidary.
Lapid, it's very stony?
No. You're thinking of camels, dromedary. It's lapidary.
Lapidary.
Which means that, each idea can be expressed in one polished little nugget.
Ah, yes. Okay.
English can't do that. English has its charm, but it's very grandiloquent.
Yeah.
Latin is precise. Yeah. Boom, there's an idea.
Boom.
That's an idea.
Okay. That's right. Hey, Dave, why don't you take care of the shout out?
I'd be happy to do that. Yep. So this goes to my friend Daniel Doleys. Daniel Doleys, he was mentioned on the last episode, but not by name, as a guy who brought us a shout out, but he was a little late in bringing it.
Oh, that's right. We kind of got on him for that, didn't we?
We did, yeah. And he enjoyed that and said he thinks he gets 1.5 points, one and a half episodes. Come on, Doleys.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, exactly. This is like Ron down in Australia. Remember Ron?
Oh man.
I hope he's still listening, but probably not. The grief we've given him. So Daniel Doleys. I am the pastor at Living Water OPC in Springfield, Ohio. I started learning Greek in undergrad at Cedarville University and tutored Greek during seminary. Nice job, Dan.
Nice job. So he must know what he's talking about to some degree, right?
Yeah, I taught myself to some degree, I would say like to a BA degree.
BA.
I taught myself Latin and then taught it for 5 years at our local Christian school. I am currently using LLPSI with my kids. I wish I had started it.
He just dropped it in there for you.
Probably,
yeah.
But he's not studying with me, so.
Oh, okay.
I wish I had started with it years ago. My favorite author is C.S. Lewis, and a quote of his from an introduction he wrote to Athanasius on the Incarnation sums up my love for the classics. Look, Dan, you get the shout out. You want the opening quote too.
He wants to step all over us.
Yes, some of these shout out folks, they're very ambitious.
They are, and a little familiar for my taste.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Where's the formality? Where's the cravat and the cummerbund?
Where's the dignity we were just talking
exactly.
about? Yeah.
Anyway, he's explaining, says Doles, he being Lewis, that as modern people, we can't know how much our modern assumptions shape our thinking because we're all moderns. So, this is Lewis, quote, the only palliative is to keep the clean sea breeze of the centuries blowing through our minds. And this can be done only by reading old books.
It's nice. I like that. The sea breeze.
I like it, but isn't it like something you put on the back of your commode in the bathroom? It's like a little... It's an air freshener, isn't it?
Right. Like for this quote on an air freshener?
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying... The only palliative is to keep the clean sea breeze of the centuries blowing through our minds. I'm thinking of an air freshener commercial.
Oh, I see.
When I read these words,
yeah.
Someone standing on a beach with the breeze going by and some pop music, right?
And you can hear maybe the seagulls,
right
in the distance. Yeah.
I don't think this is what Lewis meant.
No, I don't. I like the quote.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I like old books, obviously.
Exactly.
But let's get to the real Ope quote.
Yes, the real Ope quote. I mean, this in some ways this has nothing to do with anything.
But that's you, Winkle.
I know. So I think this comes from my desire to one day do an episode about kind of the use of Latin in like horror movies.
Okay.
So how with states and universities it adds dignity.
Right.
In horror films, Latin often shows up to add a kind of ominousness.
It's mystery.
It's mystery. Right?
Nobody can figure out those words, and they may be dangerous. Right. Is that kind of the idea?
It was, and so I was thinking about that. Like, how many kids walk by the seal of the university that they're attending, and they see that Latin there, and have absolutely no idea what it means or care. Right. And so
they raise their pencil and say Leviosa or something like that.
Something Harry Potter-in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here too, just the very use of Latin in horror films is, I think, it raises the tone.
So what is the name of this one?
The film is The Cabin in the Woods.
Is it a film or a movie?
It is a what's the distinction there?
Well, I watch movies because I don't want any thought in my movies.
Right.
I just want explosions and car chases.
I got you.
Unbelievable stuff. But a lot of people watch films.
Yes.
Because they want to think deeply about the themes.
Yes.
In an hour and a half.
Right. This is a movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie, but it's a movie that if you want to enjoy it, you have to have some knowledge of the vocabulary of the horror film. Okay. So it's a horror film about horror films. Does it sound a little too filmy for you?
It sounds a little too filmy, like it's taking itself maybe a little too seriously.
Okay.
Film is something you scrape off your teeth. A movie is something you enjoy when you're not reading books.
Right. Well, this is somewhere between the two.
Okay.
All right. So in this movie is the kind of the teenagers.
Okay.
They wind up at this cabin. Are you familiar with the film The Evil Dead?
No.
Classic horror. Okay. Well,
you name a horror film, and I'm not familiar with it.
You're not a horror film guy at all?
No, I'm
okay,
not.
So
I like to be frightened, as I was telling someone recently.
Yeah.
I like to be frightened by things in nature. So the Jaws movies.
Yes.
I know that's not horror. It's camp, but I like Jaws.
the birds.
Yes. I like things where bears and snakes are eating people. But I don't like the graphic portrayal of human wickedness.
Okay.
That's just too disturbing for me.
Yours is called Nature Red in Tooth and Claw.
I like that.
Yes.
Or maybe, Avalanche. I like those volcano movies.
Natural disasters.
Right.
Gotcha.
Because that doesn't have it's not laden with moral significance.
Gotcha.
It's just something that happens.
I can understand that.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's lots of good horror films that fall into that line. I would
Okay.
say. In this one, these kids go into this cabin, which is meant to remind the knowing audience of this famous film, The Evil Dead. But then they go into the basement.
The cabin has a basement?
It does. Right.
Wow.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So they really
It's quite a cabin.
Right. It looks really kind of rustic on the outside. You would think there's nothing much to it, but no, there's a whole dugout beneath it.
Wow.
And it becomes kind of this choose your own adventure. And so, depending on what the kids pick up and accept in the basement, that determines what kind of horror movie they're going to be in. And so they're kind of looking at these different.
So this is right at the beginning, kind of.
Right at the very beginning, right? And so there's a bunch of these kids, and one of the female characters, Dana, goes over and picks up a book and starts reading.
Okay.
And she reads, "Dolor supervivo caro, dolor sublimus caro, dolor ignio animus."
What?
Right? And of course this is kind of
barely Latin.
Barely Latin, right? But then immediately one of the other guys in the group, Marty, he interrupts her and says, "Okay, I'm drawing a line in the blankety blank sand. Do not read the Latin," because Marty knows his horror movies, and when you read the Latin, nothing good is going to come from that, right? So that's what. So it's a horror film for horror film fans,
buffs.
and so they know that when Latin is being heard or spoken, often the devil or the demon will speak in Latin.
The Latin summons some evil genie.
Of course, right?
Okay.
And because it's because the demons and the devil, that's their native language.
So this is why you recently asked me if I had read the book The Devil Knows Latin.
Yeah, well,
Is that right?
That was part of it. I mean, I read something.
Christian Quaecumque.
Right.
I can't pronounce his last name.
I saw the title, and then I saw kind of the premise, and I thought, oh, that looks kind of interesting. And so it sounded like something that you would know something about, and you do.
I read it, yeah.
And you were kind of, you gave me a meh.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
You gonna say that on the air? I gave you kind of a meh.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a great title.
Yes.
A great title, an interesting cover. Maybe we should review it at some point. I don't know.
Even the font on the front.
The font is good.
Looks like Amityville.
But I found that the essays within it were not well connected one to another. They were like a series of, periodical essays. And
It's a hodgepodge of
right.
stuff. Okay.
And I've done that before. I've written for periodicals and such. And if you stitched them all together, they wouldn't amount to a whole lot necessarily.
Right.
It wasn't an overarching theme. It's not a book.
Gotcha, right. So you think it was just kind of more kind of an easy way to get a book out? Just by
Well, I'd hate to impugn the author, but what I think is he had a great title.
Yes.
I think he taught at
he's at Colorado.
Colorado Christian University or something.
I think it's U of Colorado.
I'm looking skeptical. I'm not sure.
Colorado Boulder. That's what I read.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great title and fills a gap, right? Which is another one of these. Why should people study the Latin language?
Yeah.
And I think there should be lots and lots of books like that. Frankly,
I think the audience is wondering right now is, Dave, why aren't you writing this book? Because this is. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Have you thought about?
You know I have.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I even have a title. I've even written 100 pages of it. But
You have. Are you going to share that title? Or are you keeping that
no,
down?
I'm going to keep it. I'm going to
Okay.
keep it close to the vest.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. Well, excellent. All right. Okay. Well, we're getting off track maybe a little bit here.
It's your fault.
My fault. So we're going to talk about some universities.
Yes.
And kind of the thing that I'm excited about is a little bit of a travelogue too.
That's
we're
right.
Talk about the various campuses that you and I have been to.
Right.
We're
going to give the audience a quick breezy look at some of the most interesting, highly selective though, because there are so many of these.
Yes.
Some of the most interesting Latin mottos of colleges and universities in the United States.
Yeah.
Places we've been, places from which we graduated, and also a little bit of an international tour because some of the best ones come from other countries.
That is true.
And depending on audience response, we could probably do a part 2 because we have barely scratched the surface.
Right. There's so many. There's
Right.
so many out there. Right. So one of the very few perks of the biz that you and I are in is
We're in a business?
the biz with the big fat quotation marks around it is that we get to travel to conferences.
Oh, I get
and
it.
see lots of these places.
Yes.
Right. And so
Right.
Before we start, I wanted to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
what is your favorite campus that you've been to that you thought, oh, this is beautiful?
Comes right to mind.
Yeah.
Well, in the United States, it's the University of Virginia.
Yeah.
In Charlottesville.
Yes.
Partly designed by Jefferson.
Right.
I was there in the springtime of 1998, I think, you may have been there, for a CAMWS conference.
I think I was at
The
that one.
Classical Association of the Middle West and South.
Yes.
I told Mrs. Noe, I'm going to a CAMWS conference. She said, you're going to a what? Are you going to be able to attend these conferences? The name is CAMWS with dignity.
That's right.
I said, probably not, honey. Let's not talk about it.
That's right.
So-
They didn't. The attendants were not called. The attendees were not the Cam Wussies.
No. So I went
Yes.
and I gave a paper on Plato. I think I've talked about that before. Plato's Timaeus.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. Not the paper, but the experience was interesting.
Right.
And the campus was in late April bloom.
Oh,
and
perfect.
It was just,
I don't think I was at this one, but yeah.
It was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the temperature was nice. It was a really nice experience.
Right, that central part of campus there, with you have kind of the white roofs, and you have
Right.
the red brick, and it's
Yep.
just gorgeous.
Cherry blossoms, I think, that time of year.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
How about you? What's your favorite campus?
Virginia is definitely in my top 3.
Okay.
I really loved, speaking of University of Colorado Boulder, just that setting, in the foot, right at the foot of the mountains there.
Right.
It's everywhere you look, it's just breathtaking.
You can't beat mountains.
Right. And I also really enjoyed the University of Washington in Seattle, which I thought was really quite
I
beautiful.
don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah.
I went to a conference for, what was it? The Classical Association of the Canadian Northwest or the Pacific Northwest. I can't remember exactly the acronym.
Yeah.
Gave a paper on Ovid, if I'm not mistaken, out there. So we went to Victoria, but we did not go to the University of Washington.
Gotcha. That's a beautiful part of the
it is.
of the lands.
Another
Yeah.
really nice one is Cambridge in the UK.
I've not been to Cambridge.
We got to go to Cambridge.
Yeah.
I've been to Cambridge and Oxford. Cambridge twice, Oxford I think 3 times. Cambridge now tips the scales.
So that's who's leading that horse race.
Absolutely,
Yes.
much better.
Right.
Just beautiful.
I really enjoyed. I had a conference at the University of Edinburgh. In Scotland, which was great.
We're going to talk about their motto.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, coming up.
So maybe getting ahead of things.
No, that's
here,
okay.
Right.
So that's what we're giving the audience.
That's what we're giving the audience.
So why don't we start out, Jeff,
Yes.
with the mottos of our own institutions.
Sure.
And you start with Northwestern.
Northwestern, where I received my doctorate, right? And so they have a Latin and a Greek motto.
All right.
And we're going to talk about the Latin one. Quaecumque sunt vera. Whatever things are true.
Right. So this is a quote from Philippians chapter 4, verse 8.
It is.
It's a reference. So finally, brethren, it's probably the King James, I don't know. Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, pure, lovely, of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. So my question, Winkle.
Yes.
Was your experience at Northwestern University with this motto reflective of what the Apostle Paul is saying in Philippians 4?
Quite the opposite.
Okay.
Right? So, and the audience will forgive me if I've told this story before, but while I was there was a kerfuffle about the Northwestern seal, and there was a group of students that wanted the Greek and the Latin removed from the seal because the.
You don't know why?
Pick your reason. It was.
Could they spell the word kerfuffle?
Probably not.
Okay.
But it was thought to be some form of oppression or cultural superiority. Right? It was, and it was a time where the classics were under a bit of assault, right? And it just struck me as just kind of absurd. And so I remember I wrote to the student paper and just thought, well, don't get rid of the seal, just change it from Quaecumque sunt vera to just Quaecumque, whatever, right? A very kind of Gen X way of kind of shrugging at it.
Yeah,
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was my small way of kind of poking back at that.
At the Big Bear.
At the Big Bear.
Yes,
Yeah.
of cultural, political correctness.
Right. So that would be my
Okay.
That would be my proposition for an alternate. Just Quaecumque.
Quaecumque. Is it still Quaecumque sunt vera?
It is.
Whatsoever things are true?
Right. And then the Greek is from John, the word full of grace and truth.
Oh, yeah, John 1.
Yep. And so they're both there on the seal. So it's a rare seal in that it has both a Greek and Latin motto.
like that.
And they are still there.
Yep, I like this. Can be on my tombstone, hopefully.
Yeah.
Some Greek and some Latin.
Yeah, that's right. We've talked about that, right? Yeah. Now, how about the University of Iowa, the Hawkeyes?
Yeah,
you are
the
a
Hawkeyes.
Hawkeye.
I am a Hawkeye, and I managed to be in Iowa for 5 years as a grad student, and then for 1 year as a visiting assistant professor, and I did not attend one football game.
Not one.
Can you believe that?
Did you attend any games?
I don't think so.
Right.
No, it was a sports. It was a sports bonanza, and I didn't sample.
Because at Iowa, football is kind of king.
It
right?
is king.
It is, right. At Northwestern, being subpar.
Right. Are they still?
Well, they had kind of actually their one glory year where they went to the Rose Bowl while I was there. But I went to exactly one basketball game and exactly one football game and enjoyed neither.
Okay.
Right?
So Iowa's motto is not Latin, right?
What is it?
It's Fight for Iowa, isn't it?
Is that it?
I think so.
I looked around. I couldn't find.
You couldn't find anything.
It's not on the seal. It
No, I
doesn't
haven't
say
seen it.
"Fight for Iowa."
No, I haven't seen it.
Right.
Some angry Iowa alums, of which I am not, an angry alum.
Yeah.
They're gonna let us know. But I have a proposed Latin motto for the University of Iowa.
Please.
It's Cervicia Pilla Libri.
Beer ball books.
Beer ball books. Right. Cervicia Pilla Libri.
In that order.
In that order. Every Friday afternoon as you're walking through downtown Iowa, at least when I was a student there, a grad student, somewhere between 10 and 15 beer trucks pull up, and they take their hoses out and drop them down through the cement floor and down into the barrels of the local bars.
Yeah.
And all that stuff flows in there, and then it all flows into the students, and it all flows into the sewer.
You saw this every weekend.
Every Friday, right? Cervicia Pilla Libri. That's how the Midwest university towns are, so far as I know.
I like that. That works. That talk about a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's a T-shirt right there.
There it is.
Yes.
What about the place where we attended as undergrads and where, we both were formerly employed?
Right. Calvin College, now
That's right.
now university, has a quote from John Calvin himself,
yes,
right?
the eponymous founder of the institution.
So, Corbeam tibi offero domine, prompte et sincere.
Yeah. My heart I offer to you, O Lord, right now, prompte, and sincerely.
Sincerely.
Without hesitation.
It's a beautiful quote.
I like it quite a bit. Calvin signed his letters with something like this and a little symbol of a hand with a heart inside.
Yes, right. So I think there was. I think even while we were there, wasn't there talk about removing the Latin?
The Latin has been removed.
It has been
almost all official correspondence.
Okay.
They break the Latin out at certain times to add that aura of dignitas and gravitas. I mean, I don't know if we can use words like dignitas and gravitas, but we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, but I want to dwell on just briefly.
Okay.
What's the thinking
Don't
behind?
provoke me now.
Well, that's my job. What's the thinking behind that? Is it too alienating? Is it
I don't know.
Off-putting? It's a marketing decision.
I don't know why my former employer and my alma mater made this decision, but I can say generally, without reference to that specific institution, that some people just like change. Right?
For its own sake.
Yeah, they say, we've had it in Latin for how long? Let's change it. It'll be more approachable.
Okay.
When in fact, it would take all of 5 seconds to explain to someone what it means. But there you go.
Right.
Mileage will differ, as they say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's not worth dwelling on.
But you have an alternative, right?
I do.
A suggested motto to replace that one.
I do. It's something. When I was thinking about this, I was just going to remind you of my time there, and basically my time living in Michigan. I thought just "Heems Wainit," winter is coming, right? Which is a Game of Thrones.
No,
not at all. Okay, but that's a famous quote from that. But winter is coming. Maybe "Heems Wainit Rimana Bitque."
Yeah, and it's going to last.
It's going to last. It's going to stick around, right? So I thought that would look nice on the seal.
It would look nice.
Yeah.
As with the state mottos, it's often aspirational, not descriptive.
Right.
Like Michigan, right? I will watch over you, Tuebor.
Right.
And if you seek a pleasant peninsula, look around you.
That one's just kind of bossy.
It is very bossy.
Right. Yeah.
Quaecumque. No thanks.
But I was thinking that I think of all the models we have here, the one from Calvin is by far the longest.
You're right.
And I think that takes away from it. I think often it's the two worders, right, or the three worders.
It goes against the lapidary nature of Latin.
Exactly.
And here's a little anecdote. I got a call today, a couple days ago, from a former student who needed a little bit of Latin for something, and I helped him out with that.
Yeah.
And the phrase was something like, first we go to the stars, but we're home by dinner. And I came up with something that I rather like. So it was Stelis, Cana Jam Perdrata Tactis.
Nice.
So Stelis Tactis.
Yep.
Once the stars have been touched,
Yes.
dinner's already on the table.
Oh, man.
Cana Jam Perdrata.
That's great. So you took that long phrase and you boiled it
Boiled it right down.
That's right.
Yep.
I once got, I think we've talked on the show about how
Being
in the grad school office, you'd often get calls for
solicited for tattoos and things like that.
But I remember I'm responsible for the Latin motto of a small law school.
Nice job.
In North Chicago. So they called and I picked up the phone and they said they wanted their motto. The motto was a little bit underwhelming.
Right.
They wanted to say law by the lake.
Oh, right.
So I think it was Lex Juxta Lacus or
there
something
you go.
like that, right? And I saw it later on their
there it
seal.
is.
Yeah.
So I've had the experience of I have edited 2 seminary diplomas in Latin. And one hedge fund. Of which I'm not a shareholder. They wanted the Latin, some kind of Latin or Greek word for lighthouse. They wanted the fund to be named a lighthouse.
Yeah.
So I helped the person out with that.
Yeah,
and,
nice.
So it's the science or the business of naming things is called onomastics. So, we could set up a shop on Onomasticon, naming things.
There we go. Another revenue stream.
That's right.
Man, is somebody writing this down?
But back to the mottos.
Yes. Okay. What do we got next here?
Oh, and by the way, I have one gustatory suggestion about revenue streams.
Yeah.
It's a big one. It's $1 billion idea.
You want to share it here?
At the end of the episode.
Oh, okay.
Hang on. And actually, this one comes from Mrs. Noe.
All right.
And it's brilliant.
I can't wait.
All right.
Excellent. So what do we got next here, Dave?
Well, we got places we've been, and we're going to start with the University of Baylor.
Yes.
In Waco, Texas.
Right.
Yep.
And so their Latin motto is Pro Ecclesia, Pro Texana.
Yeah, for the church and for Texas.
Right.
That's nice.
It is nice. Yeah. And so, again, in that order.
Yep.
Church first and
Texas next.
Texas next.
Probably hard for the Texans to swallow.
I was going to say that. That's exactly. That's not very Texan.
But I like it.
Right.
Now, what is the suggested substitute here?
It was not a substitute. It's an add-on.
It's an add-on. Okay, so let's hear it. What is it?
So I was thinking, item kibi conditi. So and also spicy, tasty foods.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So we had some good Tex-Mex down
That's
there.
right. At a place called Nymphas.
Nymphas.
Yeah, it's a huge, delicious Tex-Mex restaurant right next to campus.
That's great. That was
Good spot.
That was my favorite part about being down there. It's often my favorite part about going to these places.
Is food.
Getting some good food, yeah.
What about Georgetown?
Georgetown.
What's its Latin motto?
This one, I'm going to ask you for help because I have no idea what's going on with this one. So its actual Latin motto is utraque unum.
Yeah.
From to one.
I think that's what it means.
What is that?
From both.
From both what?
From both basketball victories?
Was there some kind of combo?
There had to be some kind of... Didn't we do our
schools?
research?
I
do we have any Georgetown alums listening?
Right. So I did no research. I saw that and said, what?
Yeah,
and
okay,
wrote
moving
it down.
on. But we do have a substitute.
We do have a substitute. So let's see what I have for this one. Yes. Prope ventos inflatos. So next to some hot air.
Next to some hot air. I like that quite a bit.
Right. Georgetown for our geographically
Well,
less erudite.
No, there's people who live in other countries. We have an international audience.
All right, exactly. Georgetown is very near the capital of District of Columbia.
That's right, Washington, D.C.
All those senators and representatives are blowing their hot air
That's right.
right nearby, down the hill.
Propuentos and flatos.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, next we got UNC.
University of North Carolina.
Right. Also, a very nice campus.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Haven't been there.
You haven't been there?
Nope.
Yep.
So Lux Libertas.
Yep. Light
and Liberty.
Light and Liberty. Right?
Yeah. Do you have an alternative suggestion?
Yeah. Ite calques. Go heels.
Go heels.
So I still have no idea what a Tar Heel actually is.
I heard an explanation once, and like the explanation for icing in hockey.
Yeah.
Just went
Still just
in one ear, out the other.
Right.
I think it had something to do with people getting their feet stuck.
Is that what it is?
Moving slowly, getting their feet stuck.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But why that would become the mascot?
You got a better idea?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I saw in the recent basketball March Madness there, the guy who dresses up at the games
Like a Tar Heel?
is he's a ram.
Oh yeah.
They call him Ramses.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How about Wisconsin? University of Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. I like this one just simply because it rhymes.
It rhymes.
Numen lumen.
Numen.
Right.
The spiritual presence is our illumination.
Right.
The divine is our light.
Right. Do you think there's an est that's implied there, or is it divine
Yes.
illumination and also light?
No, there's an est.
Okay.
It's probably like Oxford's Dominus Illuminatio Mea, which is a quote from the Psalms. The Lord is my light, my illumination.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I think it's a definite take on that, but using different words, so it's not so obvious.
Right.
If you're going to steal, you got to change some details.
That's true. Right. I like the use of Newman. I mean, I think you're probably right. It's implying some kind of Christian notion of divinity, right?
Definitely.
But Newman is a very different.
It's vague.
It's a different concept.
Yes, it's more of an Enlightenment idea than a Christian idea.
Yes, exactly. Well, maybe there's that was deliberate there. But my alternative was also to come up with something that also rhymed. It was Hey, Kaisa! Hey, cheese! Right. That would also look good on a T-shirt.
That would go.
Right. And very Wisconsin-y.
There you go.
Yep.
University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. What do we got there?
We got Lege Sine Moribus Vanae. Laws without good character are useless.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You been to UPenn?
I think that I have. The Philadelphia area?
Yes, West Philadelphia.
I went to the museum there. They have I took some students there once, some high school students. They have a very nice collection of Greco-Roman antiquities in the University of Pennsylvania Museum.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah. No, I went to a conference there once, and it was one of the best conferences I've been to in terms of like paper being received. And I'm not saying this because
paper that you gave was well received.
It was well received, and it wasn't because it was a great paper.
Was it near lunchtime?
It might have been near lunchtime, right? But just the enthusiasm from a few of the grad students was kind of like was almost.
Were they being paid?
It was shocking, right?
At every one of these conferences, there are grad students who are probably can't use this term shanghaied into. Can I use that term?
I'm not sure you can, but it's too late now.
Too late.
Yep.
They are, I don't know, gang pressed into being part of the, the working staff.
Yeah.
And you must have done this as a grad student.
Of course.
So they're always milling around. Maybe part of their job is to be enthusiastic.
Right. Yeah, maybe that was,
or maybe it was just a phenomenal paper.
What I remember was that it was a paper on Apuleius,
of course,
about whom I gave many papers, but Apuleius' Metamorphosis, his novel, famously, well, in that small camp of people who care about Apuleius, there's 11 books, right? And so, which is very strange.
Yes,
right?
it is. Because the Aeneid is 12.
It's 12, right? And so it's a odd number. And so I think that in the title of my paper was something like, this one goes up to 11. Which of course is a Spinal Tap reference, and there was one of the grad students was a huge Tap fan, and he just says he thought that was brilliant, right? So he loved the title,
and you're still living on the joy of that compliment.
I'm still riding that wave.
25 years later, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Right.
So we go on to Pitt.
Yeah. Well, can I give my alternate for you?
Oh,
Penn?
sorry. Sure.
Right. So I thought this would be given its location.
Yeah.
I want to do my best Fresh Prince.
Okay.
So in Occidental Philadelphia, natus adultus.
Yeah.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised.
There you go.
Right.
Is that a little bit too topical given recent events, current events?
You want to talk about the slap?
No,
I don't want to talk about the slap either.
I just wondered why you thought of that, but
I thought of it because it was in West Philadelphia.
okay.
Right.
Pitt.
Pitt.
Yeah, University of Pittsburgh.
Veritas et Virtus.
Yes, my good friend Joseph is a graduate of Pitt.
Oh, really?
I don't know if he listens. Probably not, so I won't give any more details.
But I also enjoyed my time there. Pittsburgh was a city that really surprised me. You know, I grew up with kind of a notion of Pittsburgh being kind of dirty and
the steel drapery,
right? Exactly, with awful pollution and such. But
right.
it was beautiful, and all these bluffs overlooking the river. And
You can't believe everything you see in films.
it's true. That's true, right?
So Veritas et Virtus, which is truth and virtue.
Truth and virtue.
Mm-hmm. You have an alternative?
Yes, nonne vicinus meus eras. Won't you be my neighbor? The little shout out to Mr. Rogers.
Rogerian.
And a Pittsburgh native.
Okay.
Yep.
University of Colorado.
Yeah, they have actually a Greek
I like
motto.
that. Yeah. Lampsato taphosumon.
Yes, which is what would that be?
Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turn on the lights already.
That's a good rendering of it.
You like that?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And what is the alternative here?
Awena dulcis et saki calcitrati, I think I meant to write down there. So, and now in my fervor, I'm looking at this and I have no idea. So
I wondered too.
Sweet, and something and dry.
Well, awena means oats.
Oats, sweet. I don't know what I was thinking there. It was late at night.
Awena is oats, and if you want to say oatmeal in Latin, as of course everybody does, it's pulse awenardrum.
Okay.
Pulse awenardrum.
Goodness gracious, I have no. It was some.
Do they raise oats in?
I don't know what I was thinking.
Okay,
Right.
moving on. University of Chicago.
Yes, crescat scientia, semicolon.
Yeah.
Vita excolatur.
That's right. Let knowledge increase. Mm-hmm. Polish off your life.
Polish off your life.
Vita excolatur.
Yeah.
Excolo means something like, give your life a high sheen, right?
Right. Yeah, so these would be adjussive subjunctives, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yep.
Independent subjunctives.
Right. And then my alternative to that is just kind of, U of Chicago often makes these lists of kind of the most, like in terms of, very
prestigious.
Very prestigious, but in terms of the student body, very serious and very dull.
Right.
Right. And so I have, nulla deliciae quae, so no fun, please. Ad fecto legere, I'm trying to read. Right. So,
I like it.
Okay, thank you.
I like it.
All right.
Going on to Duke.
Eruditio et religio.
Yeah, learning and religion.
Religion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. And the alternative is?
Let's see. Folies canistrarius. This looks like one of yours.
Basketball.
Just basketball.
That's what we're after, right?
That's it.
It's basketball.
Right. So Coach K just played his coach's last game. Did you follow
Who is Coach K? Did he invent the cereal?
Mike Krzyzewski. You know what I'm talking about? Right. Not Special K.
You are always overestimating my level of education.
No, well, I mean, you're a sports fan. I know you like that.
I don't care for college basketball.
You don't care for college, okay.
No.
But you've heard of Mike Krzyzewski?
I think so.
Right. I think he's like the winningest coach of all time.
What about this guy, Wooden?
John Wooden.
Wooden.
The Wizard of Westwood.
Yeah.
The great UCLA coach.
See, you know a lot about this.
I do. My dad was a basketball coach, and so I was kind of soaked in it growing up, right? So I have kind of I enjoy October baseball, and I like March college basketball. That's about it.
Really?
So I'm very fair weather. You might say.
Yeah. You play any basketball?
I did in high school very poorly.
Really?
Yes.
Do you have any footage?
No, it's a model of kind of how not to play the game.
Okay.
Right? It's a cautionary tale.
University of Arizona.
Yes. Bear down. It's not Latin. Just bear down.
And what does that mean?
That means like, I don't know, get onto it.
Or you're walking through the zoo and in the distance you spot, an injured ursine. Bear down.
Bear down. Which is very, very strange because I don't think a lot of bears in Arizona.
There must be some small sun bears or something like that, or maybe there were in the past. But
I don't know. I mean, Arizona, University of Arizona is way down there in Tucson, right?
I love the Southwest, the desert Southwest.
I do too, right? But not many bears.
No, bear down.
Bear down. So I think
That's the winner.
Right. Did your dad ever tell you, hey,
Bear down.
Stop messing about and bear down?
No? He would tell me stop whining. Is this like the compliment of man up?
Something like that.
Man up. Hey, man up. Bear down.
Man up's not usually a compliment. It means like, hey, you're a camwussy.
And man up.
Man up.
Isn't that the same though as bear down? It's the same sentiment. So could we do this with other mammals? Cow sideways.
I like it. A cow sideways. I like that one. Right.
Bear down.
Bear down. So
horse backwards.
Right.
Some mammal in some direction. That's all you need.
You need some kind of direction. Yeah, right. It's a possum kitty corner. The possibilities.
So
are
do
endless.
we have an alternative?
I thought like if you're going to do bear down in Latin, maybe something like durata, like you endure.
Yeah.
Like, get through it.
Yeah, like those posters that were briefly popular, the keep calm and carry on.
Oh, yes.
I don't know who was behind that.
Yeah.
That was a flash in the pan. I could not wait for that to pass.
It was kind of a British thing, wasn't it? Right? It was kind of a Churchillian.
It was probably of U.S. origin. It looked like American marketing.
Right.
So, British austerity and American marketing, what can't it accomplish?
Right, exactly. That stiff upper lip.
That's right.
Exactly.
So, durata, I like that.
Or if we're going to be very, literal about the bear, ile ursus quaecumque, that bear had fallen.
That bear fell.
That bear fell, right? Yeah. Or maybe ne cura calor aridus est. Don't worry, it's a dry heat. Something like that.
Should we go international for the next one?
Yes, right. So the University of Lisbon, where I also gave a paper.
As did I.
Did you really?
Yes, I went to Portugal.
When did you do that?
I was a Portuguese in Portugal.
You were just Portugalan?
2016.
Yeah. Okay.
Mrs. Noe and I went. It was kind of a junket, frankly.
A junket?
You know what junkets are?
What's the difference between a junket and just a trip?
Well, a junket has an ostensible business reason.
Okay.
But the real reason is more recreational.
Ah, okay. Right. So
that's what a junket is. There's congressional junkets,
yes.
right?
Press junkets.
Right. Who wants to go down to Jamaica and inspect agriculture? Well, everybody does, right? Who wants to go to Montreal and inspect the ice fields?
Yeah.
Nobody does.
Right, so right.
That's a congressional junket.
Well, given that definition, I think probably most of my conference travel could be described as junkets.
That's the name of the game, isn't it? This is why academic conferences are usually in idyllic places.
Right.
It was a really nice one. Went to Lisbon, got close to the furthest west point in Europe, which of course...
Close to it, but not to it?
To it, yeah.
Okay.
Lusitania, right, is what the Romans called that region, Lusitania. And the University of Lisbon, what does it have as its Latin motto?
Ad lucem.
Yes.
Toward the light.
Toward the light. Toward the light, yeah. I think that means something like ad lucem eamus. Or ad lucem progrediamur.
So
let us go toward. Let us head
aspirational.
Toward. I think so.
Yeah. Yep.
Because lucem is sometimes a synonym in Latin for the dawn, but as it's so far west, it's the sun doesn't rise there.
Right.
It rises on the other side.
Right.
So I don't think that's the reference.
Right.
But we have an alternative.
Yeah. Similis Hispaniae said take.
Yeah. So just like Spain,
but don't talk about it.
But keep it quiet.
Keep it quiet. Right. I was traveling with. I went there with my wife. This was 2008.
Junket.
Yep. And we ate at the conference with some people, and I remember one of them was talking about just how much she loved Spain and how much here just reminded her of Spain. It kept going on, and the Portuguese amongst us, I could tell, were feeling kind of a little bit touchy about that. So that's fine. Just kind of keep it to yourself, please.
Well, that's a great anecdote there about Portugal. And when we return from the break, we're going to go to the University of Washington.
Yes, we are.
This episode of Ad Nauseam is brought to you by Hackett Publishing with offices in Massachusetts, Cambridge, and Indiana, Indianapolis. Hackett has been providing for 50 years now, at its anniversary, high-quality classics and all areas of the humanities to a wide audience. Jeff, what do you like about Hackett?
In my myth class, we just finished reading Euripides' Bacchae, And the edition that I ordered is the one with Elvis Presley on the front.
You love that
I love
one.
that. So Elvis is kind of the modern day Dionysus,
Right.
driving the women crazy and making the men very, very upset and disturbed.
Yeah, You Ain't Nothing But a Pentheus. Isn't that one of his leading songs?
That's the first choral ode.
I think so.
Yeah.
You haven't lived if you haven't read Hackett's version of Euripides Bacchae with Elvis Presley on the cover.
It's true. So great packaging, and the translation itself is great. My students really enjoyed it. They almost all of them had never had any experience with Greek tragedy before, and they said, "Yeah, this was great."
Ate it up.
Yeah. It was wonderful.
So next week we're going to return to some Ovidian vignettes.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to use both the Lombardo version of Ovid and the Ambrose version.
That's right.
What kind of a publisher, right, offers a wide variety of classical texts from different translators?
Right.
Affordable,
right? Yeah. There's all kinds of different things to choose from. Go to their website.
There's Latin American studies. There's Asian studies. They've got it all.
They do have it all.
And what are they offering our listeners?
Well, if they go to hackettpublishing.com and they put in the coupon code in the little slot there.
Yeah, it's AN2022.
That's right.
HACKETT publishing.com.
Right. So you put in that AN2022 and you will get 20% off.
That's right.
Your entire order and free shipping.
Yes, the guy to whom we shouted out, Mr. Daniel Doles, he picked up some great deals from Hackett using this very coupon.
Excellent.
So be like Dan. Check it out.
Check it out. This episode of Ad Nauseam also brought to you by the Moss Method. Dave, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, Moss Method is a way for you to learn Greek. Not you, because you already know Greek, but someone who doesn't know much or maybe only knows a little bit can go from neophyte to erudite. So I've taken this book in the public domain from Charles Melville Moss, University of Illinois professor, 1893. He wrote this charming introductory Greek reader, which takes you in an inductive way. You're reading Greek the very first lesson, very first paragraph. So instead of learn a rule, misapply a rule, forget a rule, this is learn a principle, apply it to some actual narrative, and remember it because it's going to be reinforced in the next one. It's a slow and graduated method to really gain some great mastery of Greek.
And you've seen it work.
I have seen it work, yeah. 100 students at least have been in this program, and they've really done remarkably well. So if you got the discipline, I'm there. It's self-paced, expert, and accessible. I'll help you get through it. If you know the alphabet or maybe you don't know any Greek at all, I can really help you get started on a solid foundation. If you're going to build a pyramid, Jeff, what would be the most important part?
I think it would be maybe that capstone at the top.
No, you can't build that part first.
That's right. You can't. Yeah, that's right. It's the foundation.
Yeah, back when you were playing basketball in high school.
Yeah, badly. Yes.
You got to do the drills, right?
Do.
You got to do the basics.
That's right.
So this course gets you started on the basics. I mean, it's not dull. It's very interesting, but it's really a foundational kind of approach to Greek.
So if people are interested, what should they do?
They should go to mossmethod.com, just like it sounds. Check out some of my free instruction. I got a lot of free videos explaining Greek from the church fathers, from the classics, from the New Testament, and then sign up for the course, and you'll get 40 video lessons, 40 assignments, quizzes, exams, and you get access to me live once per week for an hour in our Moss Method office hours.
Office hours.
Office hours, that's right.
Right. Don't hesitate.
Check it out. This episode of Ad Nauseam is also brought to you by Racial Coffee. Racial Coffee, the brew child, the brew genius idea of Mr. Mark Helweg out in Portland, Oregon.
I like Brew Child.
You like Brew Child?
Yeah.
That would be the good name for an album, I would think.
Yeah,
Brew Child.
Exactly.
From what's the name of that group? Purple Floyd? What's the
Pink Floyd?
Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Brew Child.
That'd be a good band name for them.
It sounds very Floydy.
Yeah, okay. So what is Ratio and why are we talking about it?
Well, the Ratio, they make these wonderful coffee machines. I have the Ratio 6, you have the Ratio 8. They're beautiful to look at.
But they don't brew good coffee.
They brew excellent coffee. Let me tell you, I was just out of town for a couple of days with my family and had that, the in-house kind of hotel coffee.
I had it too.
It's awful.
Yes.
It's awful. And you don't realize kind of how good you got it at home until you take a sip of that stuff.
I had to drink some of that stuff at some unsweets place, and it was bad.
It was bad.
You know why? Because they have a smolder slab underneath.
A smolder slab.
A smolder slab, or kind of like a fester coil.
Right.
That keeps the coffee warm.
It keeps cooking it.
Yes.
Right.
A Kindle brick down there at the bottom.
In the Ratio 6 and 8, you don't have that. You have that weighty carafe.
Where is the heat located in one of these machines?
Well, it's a pour over machine.
Oh, okay.
Right? So that you get that scalding water coming down through the Fibonacci head.
200 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Through the
That's
metallic veins.
And then it goes into we've been using weighty carafe. Is there another way to describe that?
Maybe we could call it like a hulking flagon.
Hulking flagon, right? You put the top on that, and that's going to stay warm for hours.
A long time.
And it stays how it's supposed to taste. It's not kind of continually being kind of, cooked up again.
Right. Nobody wants that.
Right.
Because that gives it kind of we can't say brackish tang. Kind of like a caustic snap.
Yes.
Ugh. You get that in the back of your duodenum. Ooh.
Oh, that's the worst. Exactly. Don't get me started on my duodenum.
I don't think that's a part of the mouth apparatus.
No, I don't think so
that's
either.
Somewhere else.
Sorry, I took one biology class in college, right?
But those of you who study Greek,
yes,
look this up. It's the ta splankna.
The
ta splankna. Look it up. Trust me, look it up. But back to the coffee.
Yes. So, listeners, if you want to take advantage and get one of these wonderful machines, the 6 or the 8, you go to ratiocoffee.com.
Yes.
RATIO coffee. And we have a new coupon code.
We do. That's right. And this coupon code only goes through April 30.
Okay.
So here's your chance to score one of these machines, 15% off either the 6 or the 8. And the coupon code is
ANCO 6Y.
6Y.
6Y. Yep.
Yes. AN Coffee 6Y. Check it out. You're not going to regret it. All right, Jeff. So as we get back into it, we've got the University of Washington.
We do have the University of Washington, which I was talking about.
And their motto, what's their Latin motto?
Their Latin motto, if I can get my stuff here straight here.
Yes. Shall I help with that?
Would you please help
yes,
me with
that?
that?
Yes, it's Lux Sit.
Lux Sit, yes.
Let there be light.
Let there be light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I thought was kind of odd for a campus which is often covered in clouds and rain.
Maybe that's the whole reason for it.
I always heard from that. That's a rumor, a lie that Seattleites tell because they just don't want people coming there, right? But
it's cloudy all the time.
My experience there was it was rainy. Rainforest. It was very, very beautiful. But I thought it was kind of ironic that their motto is let there be light. Right? Please,
they're begging.
Please let there be light.
Verdant but overcast.
Right. Yeah. This is also the site near the campus where I did probably the most Gen X thing that I've ever done.
You listened to Nirvana while skateboarding?
Well, you're actually very close to that. So the house in which Kurt Cobain had his last moments.
It's the Shotgun Shack, right?
Yes, on Lake Washington. I had borrowed a friend's car there, and kind of between sessions, I was determined to go find that house. And
how do you mean between sessions? Recording sessions?
No, between conference sessions.
Oh, you were canvassing.
It was a conference on ancient magic, which was fascinating.
It made people's interest disappear.
I couldn't get away from that place fast enough. It was actually a really cool conference, and I met some really interesting, very kind of odd people there. But
I wish we had time to hear more.
But I was determined to go to find that house and drove along and did it.
And you did.
That was probably the most. What's the most Gen X thing you've ever done?
I don't know.
I think you're born like in Gen X, but I don't think you are Gen X.
No, and I was born a couple hundred years ago.
I think that's true.
Yeah, I'd have been very popular in the 1840s.
You would have been huge in the
1840s. Huge. So let's go on from the University of Washington to the University of Michigan.
University of Michigan. What is in Michigan? So close to home here. What do we have?
Right,
there?
We've got Artes Scientia Veritas.
Veritas, yes.
That's kind of pedestrian, honestly.
A lot of these are kind of really quite boring. Once
they
you start
are
stacking
dull,
them next
right?
to each other, right?
Skill, knowledge, truth.
Truth.
They got through skill and knowledge, and we should probably throw in truth.
Throw in truth there.
What was the absolute clunker of the mottos for the states? It was Maryland, or Delaware.
Well, I just remember we just harped on our home state, Michigan, a lot.
Yeah, but we found some others that were just.
Do you remember?
No, I can't remember. Totally phoned in, written by committee.
Right.
I think this one was written by a committee with a Latin dictionary.
Yeah, probably right. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to get out of there because it was
correct.
It was time for the football game.
That's right. So let's see. Artes sounds good. Skill, scientia, right? Knowledge, truth. Okay, we're done.
Veritas. That's the kind of borrowing from Harvard there.
Yeah.
Snap that in.
So what's your alternative?
Fanatici intollerandi.
Which means
insufferable fans. Right.
Do you go to U of M football games?
I don't.
In the big house?
I say that my tongue very much in cheeky. I grew up in a family that was still are huge University of Michigan fans.
Okay.
But I got to an age where I realized I was asking why. None of my family went there.
Right.
And I came to learn that it was really because my dad liked the colors.
Yeah. Oh, well, who can resist that?
The maize and blue?
Maize and blue.
And for me, it was I mean, I struggle. I mean, it's so stupid, but with like fan loyalty.
No, I'm not there.
I don't get it. Right. And so it would be one thing if like my father or grandfather had graduated from University of Michigan, but they haven't. And so it just struck me as absurd.
You're like Socrates, right? Socrates said he was cosmopolites.
Yeah.
A citizen of the world. You're like a fanmopolitan.
There you go. Thank you for comparing me to Socrates.
You're welcome.
Right.
You're a fanmopolitan.
So I find it's not just U of M fans that I find insufferable. I find any kind of really kind of hardcore fan who has
too much zeal,
especially if you have no connection to the place.
A good friend of mine who lives down in Florida, he's a Florida man. He is a great U of M fan, huge fan. And I thought, he must be an alumnus. He must have been. Guess why he's a fan of the U of M?
Why?
Because he lived in Michigan for a couple of years when he taught at another school.
Is that right?
That's it.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hard to respect that.
I suppose. But I guess it doesn't have to make any sense. I mean, part of being a fanaticus is being
you don't make any sense.
Fanatical. Right, right. So let's go just within
down
the state.
Road?
Down the road
Okay.
to East Lansing, Michigan State. And from what I could tell, they didn't really have
No
a
Latin motto.
No Latin motto. There's this thing that pops up, Spartans will.
Spartans will, Athenians won't. Is that what it is?
I guess so. I don't know. I do see on some of the T-shirts they will co-opt the Mola Labe. Come and take it.
Yes.
But it's not an official motto.
No, it's what Gerard Butler said in that movie, right?
Right. Come and take that.
Yes, Malon Labe.
Right.
Yep.
So I like, if you look at the official seal, they got that nice Corinthian helmet.
Yes.
It looks very, very sharp.
Right.
But my problem is with the mascot who shows up at the games. And that's why I suggested.
Mascot.
Yes.
You were going for mascot.
Mascot, right. So
I didn't know you were going for mascot.
Right. So I came up with kind of like some fake Latin, like
right.
Symbolus
it was
ineptus or something.
It was on point, as they say, but I thought you were going for the motto.
Right. Well, I couldn't granted, it's free. I didn't do a lot of research into this, but what would Latin for mascot
I knew you were going to ask me that.
I was trying to
a sectator. A sectator is like a follower. Someone who's, right behind you.
But it's got to be something kind of representative of something, right?
A seclor, maybe it's a seclor. Yeah, I'm going to have to think on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to think on mascot.
Yeah.
Homunculus.
Oh, I like that.
Homunculus is a word that's used for dwarf.
Like a little hairy man, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily hairy.
I don't think there's any hair involved. But a homunculus is like an image or a representation, but it's very derogatory.
It is.
So maybe that doesn't fit mascot. I don't know.
Yeah. So, whatever the Latin for that would be is like Sparty, this guy that that runs around with a giant head and such. Is that on the seal they've got the Spartan that Corinthian helmet, right on. But Sparty is dressed like a Roman.
Yes.
And so he's got the big, the dust broom on the helmet.
Right.
He's got kind of the pleated, soldier's skirt.
Right.
And it's
clearly nobody did their research.
No, and it's just irritating. It looks ancient-y.
Yes.
Right. But Sparty is not a Spartan.
Would it irritate anyone except the classicist?
I know, but
wouldn't they be watching the game?
I guess so. It finds me irritating. It irritates me deeply.
Yeah.
But,
shall we go on to UVA?
Yeah, University of Virginia, which we were just saying
visited,
was one of our favorite campuses of all time. Right.
So it doesn't have a motto, do they?
No motto.
No motto whatsoever.
No motto whatsoever. English, Latin, nothing.
Wow,
right?
It's got to be discouraging.
In terms of Latin, one thing I could find is a residential college within the college.
Okay.
And I like this because it's at least part of it is gustatory.
Right.
Kibo, comitate, pace, discendo. These would be all ablatives of means, I suppose. Like by food.
By food, friendship, peace, and learning.
Right.
Yes, ablatives of instrument or maybe ablatives absolute. I don't know.
Right.
Here we got food, friendship. It's like a McDonald's commercial.
That's right.
Except for the learning.
Right. Except for the learning part. But yeah, otherwise, I'm loving it.
Yeah. You learn you have heartburn. Kibo comitate pace discendo.
Right. Oh, that's got a nice kind of staccato rhythm to it, right?
Yeah, I don't mind.
But I like that it leads off with the food part. Mm-hmm. Right. Everything starts with food.
Right.
Then
so we're
the
going
friendship.
to go international next.
In University of Edinburgh.
Yep. Right. And it's quadrate et invenietis.
Yeah.
Seek and you shall find.
Right.
I guess it's because the University of Edinburgh is buried in the streets of Edinburgh, and you just look around for it, and there it is.
Oh, there it is. Right, exactly. You're kind of distracted by the Firth of Forth. Right?
Bodotria.
What's that?
Bodotria.
Bodotria.
It's the Latin for the Firth of Forth.
Is that right?
We talked about this.
Did we?
It's in a previous episode.
I prefer Firth of Forth.
Well, it's the one in which some Scottish listener criticized our accents, but I have, I have an alternative here.
Okay, what do you got there?
It's caligina involutum impenetrabili.
What do we got there? What's that?
That means wrapped in an impenetrable fog.
Yes.
Because it's always Seattle and Edinburgh.
It is.
Basically.
Right, but which it gives it, I mean, a very...
je ne sais quoi?
Yes, it's got a very kind of murky, mystical kind of feel to it. Right? I did that. One of my favorite things I did in Edinburgh was it's also supposed to be one of the most haunted cities in the British Isles, and so they have a ghost walk at night, which was just fabulous. And so it takes,
sounds right up your alley.
Takes full advantage of kind of that foggy, natural creepiness.
How it's cold
and damp.
Get me back to my hotel room and a good book.
So we won't be finding you going out to any ghost walks?
No, I'm just counting down the minutes to the breakfast bacon,
Right, and the haggis? Right, yeah.
Because you can't sleep with the, the jet lag.
No.
So the next time we're going to go to Harvard?
Harvard? Yes, Harvard. Veritas.
Truth.
Yeah.
It says it all.
It says it all.
But you have an alternative.
I do. Melioras te sumus. We're better than you. So
how about Greensboro College?
Greensboro, which I'm even blanking where that's even from.
It's got to be in one of the Carolinas.
Right. Yeah, I think, yeah. I like this one just because it was a quote from Horace. And
I like the sentiment.
Kind of outside the box. Palma non sine pulvera.
Right. There's no palm without dust.
Without dust.
It's kind of like saying there's no crown without a cross.
Yes.
You're not going to win unless you suffer.
No pain, no gain.
Exactly.
Right.
Palma non sine pulvera.
So I really liked that.
I did too. No pain, no gain is the best translation. That's good. How about the University of Hawaii?
I put this one so you could read it.
You gonna want me to try to read this? What is it? It's a phonetic representation of Polynesian.
Of Polynesian, of the local indigenous Hawaiian language.
Now, I had a lovely student in one of my Latin classes at my former institution, studied Latin, a very hardworking young woman who was from the island. And, if I had thought to ask her, she could maybe have read this for us. But
yeah.
Here goes. Okay. Maluna a ona la hahui apake ola oke kanaka.
Very nice.
I don't know.
I would have. That seems like you practiced that.
No, I didn't.
No? Apparently it means above all nations is humanity. So
again, cosmopolitan.
Right. So Hawaiian, not as pithy of a language as
no, it takes a lot of words to say that.
Right,
a lot of syllables,
a lot of vowels to say.
Yes.
That. Yeah.
How about Norwich?
Norwich University.
Where is Norwich?
I have no idea.
It's in the UK, isn't it?
It's got to be. It's got to be. But I just thought this was just probably unintentionally funny. Just I will try. I guess so.
I could have given them a Latin motto: Conabor.
That sounds a lot better.
I'll give it a go.
Well,
be something like I'm game.
But doesn't it just sound so like almost like on the verge of giving up? Well, I guess I'll try.
Well, I mean, what else can you expect from a college student, right?
I'll give it a shot.
Were they awarding trophies for participation at this point?
I have no idea.
If so, Conabor.
All right,
I'll give it a go.
I don't know if we've talked about this, but I've often talked about kind of where you find like, imperatives on signs,
yes.
and where you don't find them, it seems to be flipped. So like you go by a fast food restaurant, it's like try a fruit cup, do it now. And then I was.
Does that bother you also?
Well,
whenever I see it, I say, hey, back off. Don't tell me what to do.
Exactly. Well, I don't like that. But then I was driving on the highway, and they have one of those digital signs across,
right.
that tells you about weather and such.
Right.
And this one said, "Aim to drive safe and sober." Take a crack at it. If you ever needed an imperative,
is that Jim Gaffigan?
Maybe something like that. Okay. But it's like give it the college try.
I will try Norwich University. Aim to drive safe and sober.
Exactly right.
I did my best.
Not just drive safe and sober.
Right.
But
it's odd.
Yeah. Isn't that odd?
I think it's because if a person were really in that setting and was unsafe and unsober, they wouldn't want to be told what to do.
Maybe.
So it's deliberately soft pedaled.
Is that what it is?
To try to succeed.
You're finding some sense in that, but
okay.
I mean, compare that to try the 3 beef combo and do it now.
How about the University of Rhode Island?
Rhode Island, in English, no Latin motto. Just think big. We do.
Yeah, coming from Rhode Island, it's the size of a county in Texas.
Exactly.
Half a county.
That's why I think Mens Napoleonica.
Yeah, the Napoleon complex.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's what's going on there.
I don't know many people from from Rhode Island. I don't think many people do because there's not that many people there.
don't know.
But do they have kind of this kind of chip on their shoulder? They're the smallest state?
I don't know. Do they have shoulders? I mean, it's a tiny place.
So tiny.
How could you even squeeze in there?
I've driven through it. It didn't stop.
Okay.
It took like 25 minutes.
You sure it wasn't just a drive-through? You were actually in the McDonald's drive-through?
I was trying to get that fruit cup.
Okay.
Right.
So Southwestern University in Texas.
Texas, yes.
Non quis sed quid.
Not who, but what.
Oh, it's not who you know, but what you know.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
That's right. Okay. All right.
I think it's good Latin in terms of accuracy. It's really forgettable. Non quis sed quid. It's really forgettable.
Yeah.
Speaking of forgettable, University of Houston.
In tempora.
Yeah, in tempora, which is...
I was like, I thought it was like eventually, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get to it, I guess.
We'll get to it.
Right. Give it time.
Give it time, right?
No, there's nothing there.
I mean, it's not even aspirational, right? It's just like, eventually.
Or is it trying to say that they're punctual, like they're on time?
On time, maybe.
It doesn't make sense if that's what it means, but I guess the desire to use Latin often outstrips the ability.
Maybe, I guess so.
And this could be an instance of that.
Right.
Cornell.
There's not a Latin motto, but I found this quote from Ezra Cornell, the founder, which I thought was kind of interesting and also kind of ironic. And you find this in a lot of their literature. I would found an institution, Mr. Cornell said, where any person can find instruction in any study. So it's very noble.
Yeah, big red.
Yes, very aspirational, but... current tuition at Cornell is just shy of $60,000 a year. So not everybody.
Ouch. So we could change it to pecuniosis.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
For the wealthy.
For the wealthy, right. So I suggest if you're going to keep it in English, just to add on to this, well, not any person. I mean, come on, am I right?
How about the Birmingham City University in the UK?
I thought this one also struck me kind of funny. Age quod agis. Do what you're doing.
Yeah, you be you.
You be you.
What does it say? You do you. That's the new expression.
You.
You just do you.
You just do you.
That's age quod agis.
Yeah. Wow, man. I mean, what does that? How does that even relate to any kind of? I mean,
education.
Education.
I don't know. You're in the class. You're not in the class.
Right.
What does it matter?
Hey, whatever it is, just you do you.
Right. You got a major. You completed the assignment. Age quod agis. So I looked up the Vulgate. Jerome's version of the Bible, John 13:27, because it reminded me of what Christ said to his betrayer Judas. What you are about to do, do quickly. And it's kind of similar. Quod facis, fac quitius. What you are doing, do it more quickly.
Do it more quickly.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
So that's a little bit like age quod agis.
Get on with it.
Yeah, get on with it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a little bossy.
It is a little bossy.
Eat the beef sandwich. How about the University of Göttingen?
Göttingen, yes. In publica commodo.
Which is supposed to be for the public good.
Right.
Is what it means.
But I see commodo, I think.
You just think toilet.
I think toilet,
okay.
Right? So it's like located in the public toilet, right just down there.
And then we have some more international ones. I like this James Cook University.
Okay.
Which is Queensland, Australia.
All right.
It's Crescente Luca.
Oh. Light increasing.
Yeah, well, I think the most idiomatic would be something like raising the wattage.
To turn up the dimmer switch.
Yeah. Raising the wattage.
Raising the wattage. I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And then there's the Royal Melbourne, because we do have quite a few listeners down under.
Australia.
So we got to give them some.
Yes, we do.
Some props here. The University of Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology. So you say, hey, I went to MIT.
Oh, really?
Our MIT. Whose motto is Perdita manus mens exculta.
Okay.
Right? Capable hand, a polished mind.
Okay.
It's good Latin.
I like that.
It's very good Latin, and it's alliterative, right?
I like the ABBA word order.
I like it too.
Yes.
It's very nice.
Nice.
What about the University of Buenos Aires?
Buenos Aires. Ever been to Argentina?
No, Argentina. Have you ever been to South America?
I never have been.
I am traveling there.
What?
Dea Volenta in the month of May.
What you doing down there?
I'm going to teach some Greek.
Really? To whom?
Well, this show's not about me. Let's just move on.
Okay, all right.
What's the University of Buenos Aires?
Argentem virtus robur et studium.
Argentina is virtue, strength, and study.
The land of silver.
That's what it means.
A lot of silver mining?
Apparently, at some point. That's what the Europeans thought they were getting. I'm not sure what it turned out to be. So I think the motto's a little phoned in. It doesn't really have a lot of It's just a number of nominative nouns, right?
Yeah.
Just dropped down. There's no internal logic as in Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology.
Yeah,
that was better.
That's a committee in a hurry again.
So I'd like you to read this one from the University of Peradeniya in Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Which is not in Latin, but I like the translation.
All right, so this is in Sanskrit?
I think so.
All right,
which is one of the parent languages of Greek and Latin, so you're natural.
Oh, man. See, Sarvasva Lokanam Sastram.
And the definition apparently is supreme.
So really, those three words.
Apparently.
Supreme.
That's what I understand as a translation, which is really aspirational.
Very. That's foreboding.
It's right up at the don't even try.
don't even.
Supreme.
So even the guys from the people from Norwich would say, I'm not even
going to try.
Yeah, I'm not going to try this. Right.
What about the university? We're going to go down under now to Rhodes University in South Africa.
South Africa, vis virtus veritas.
Yes, alliterative, right? Strength, virtue, truth. Not real imaginative.
No.
But I like this one from the University of Zululand.
Yes.
Which is also in South Africa. It's Diligentia Cresco. Which the translation that was given to me is by diligence we shall lead.
There's no first person plural there.
No, there's a first singular cresco, and cresco means I get larger. I increase in size. It means, to grow up, right?
Yeah.
You see something grows up, it gets larger. Cresco, to increase.
So this isn't about overeating.
Well, I think Diligentia Cresco, I don't think that the suggested translation on the Wikipedia is really very accurate.
Right.
It's something like... my influence grows through hard work, something more like that.
Gotcha.
It's not about leadership. Right. Oh, well. What about Spain?
Spain, we have the Universidad Carlos III of Madrid.
Yes, this is so much better than the University of Carlos II, let me tell you.
Not even close.
It's got a very nice Latin motto, though.
It is, Homo homini sacra res.
Yes, Homo homini sacra res, which is?
Man must be sacred for man.
Yeah. I like that, right?
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I like that. University of Geneva? What do we got?
Yes, of course, founded by John Calvin in 1559.
Ah, yes.
As the Geneva Academy, then grew into a university. Post tenebras lux. After darkness, light.
I like that.
Well, it has an internal logic. There's a complete sentiment there, and it's also suggestive of some larger idea, which I think as a motto separates it from just dropping down nouns without any suggested syntax.
You could boil that one down to no pain, no gain too, couldn't you? A little bit, like no cross, no crown.
Maybe, yeah, you could. You got to get through the darkness to get to the light. But there's a historical allusion as well, right? Calvin's talking about the darkness as he saw it of the preceding centuries.
Yeah.
That's the historical reference.
Okay.
I thought we should throw in one from Taiwan.
Okay,
The Fujian Catholic University.
They're using Latin over there.
Well, they are because it's a Catholic university.
There we go.
We have here on our notes some of the Mandarin characters.
Okay. Yes.
No chance.
No chance. No, I have no idea.
But also some Latin, and it is. You want to read that one?
Yes. Veritas, bonitas, pulchritudo, sanctitas.
Yeah. Truth, goodness, beauty, and holiness.
All right.
Now, they've gone the route of using a lot of abstract third declension nouns without any kind of internal logic, but they have 4 of them instead of 3.
Right. Yeah. So that's something.
It's something.
That's something.
Yeah.
Right. And this, shall we end with this one?
Let's see what else we got here. This is the ender.
Right. So University of Chichester. What do we got?
This is in the UK, Chichester. We could just give a little bit of a historical lesson. The Chichesters, the Manchesters, the Chesters, the Dorchester. Anytime there's the Chester on the end of one of these words, as you know,
yes,
it's Castra.
Castra, yes.
Yeah, there was a Roman camp located there.
There we go. Yeah.
So it is docendo discimus. By teaching we learn.
That's very true.
It is. However, if I were applying for, that school,
so what are you going to have me doing?
Yeah, but also, what are you telling me that your professors are learning on the fly? Docendo discimus.
Right.
So, Professor so-and-so, what are we teaching today? I don't know. We're going to have to get into it before I figure it out.
Exactly. And and along with that is also apparently this promise that you're not going to learn anything because you'll be doing no teaching while you're here. Right.
So that's got to be a little bit worrisome.
Yeah. All right. There's a ton more like we said we could have covered.
We're up against the clock, but we got to wrap it up. Maybe we'll do another episode on this at some point.
Yeah. This is a lot of fun.
But as we wrap up, we got to give some thank yous, right?
Yes. To Mishka,
right?
Our wonderful engineer.
Puts this all together, does such a nice job.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We want to thank Ken Tamplin and Scott Van Zen for the music, bumper music, the guitar intro and outro. You can check out some of Ken's work at kentamplinvocalacademy.com. Scott Van Zen has a guitar school if you want to play like that. It's going to take a lot of practice.
That's right. But you got to build the foundation. You got to start with the scales.
He can teach you.
That's right. So, hey, if you want to shout out,
which we need.
We do. And if you want to just let us know what's up, and if you wanted to give us some suggestions, things you like, you don't like, you can always write to Dave at adnauseum.com. Don't forget the V.
Or Jeff at adnauseum.com. Please don't forget the V.
Yes. And Dave, what are we doing next week?
Next week, we're going to look at 2 more Ovidian vignettes.
Excellent. Do you have a couple in mind?
I thought maybe we could talk about Pythagoras and Numa.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Those are 2 separate little vignettes because there's a lot of pages in Ovid. I think it's book 13 of the Metamorphoses, if I'm remembering, where he talks about Pythagoras' vegetarianism. But Ovid can't resist playing it for comedy, so far as I can tell.
So it's there's something gustatory in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're going to do, and then in a couple of weeks we may launch into the Aeneid.
I think it's about time.
It is about time.
That's right.
And Jeff, I think that you've got the gustatory parting shot.
I do. This comes from the late Anthony Bourdain, who said, "Cheese is magic. The cheese course, irreplaceable. All the knowledge accumulated by mankind and all the mysterious forces of the natural world reside in cheese."
Thanks for listening.
Could not agree more.